not all the creativity can lead to fulfillment, because creativity is a blind force. You have to understand that it's a shakti. There are two aspects to creation: the consciousness and the operative principle, that is shakti. Shiva or shakti कहते हैं, पुरुष प्रकृति जो हम कहते हैं. And world is nothing but the interplay of both.
How does spirituality connect itself to creativity?
And what did it do to you as a creative person?
So when we become spiritual, what you express as a creative being takes a very different turn.
What did working for Michaelaram do for you as a creative person?
The artist in me awakened when I joined Michaelaram, you can say that.
You worked there for about 20 years.
Yes.
What made you leave and why did you leave and what are you doing now?
Now you're coming to the point. So while I was holding a very good position, I was earning good salary, but somehow I felt that after my job also, I developed a kind of, you can say, the talab nahi hoti hai, जो नशा हो गया था meditate करने का. And then I had out of body experience. That was a turning point.
You went through the consciousness, self-awareness.
Hey, hold करना. मेरे को out of body experience एक बार इसमें तो example कौन सा है? उसका बाद पूछना.
Out of body.
Yes, what was that?
See, I told you that I was.
Today's time, collective consciousness can be engineered.
It's actually people are becoming unconscious in a way. So the collective conscious is not really conscious, it is unconscious. It is important that each individual follow the inner journey. We have to connect to our inner self, because the more you look outward, you're going to lose yourself.
How does all this culminate into your work today?
I'm coming to that, yes. Very interesting question. So,
Welcome to Creative Spark Plug. Creative Spark Plug is a black book of creative journeys. In this podcast, we speak with creative individuals and record their stories. It gives insight into creative lives, inspires the young, and nourishes the ones facing challenges. That's what we aspire to do as well. Today we are speaking with Mr. Divyendu Anand. Divyendu Anand, again, is a senior of mine, super duper, बहुत senior hai. And very fortunately, we were contemporaries as well, because when I got into college, when I went into design school, he was still finishing his project. So I did have a little bit of face time with him. I remember him fondly from those days because he had some exceptional skills. And unlike a lot of other seniors, I'm not saying they were bad, but unlike a lot of other seniors who could bully you, rag you and things like that, he was a sweetheart. Like, he was the older brother you didn't have. That's how I remember him. And for anything that you would, as a person, I remember going to him for guidance, suggestion, help. And that was always available. For whatever he could, he would always help you with. This is also a way in which a lot of us remember Divyendu. Over to him. I know you as a senior from NIFT, so I know you went to NIFT Accessory Design Department. But how did you reach NIFT? ये creative process कहाँ से चालू हुआ? मतलब?
First of all, thank you for having me here. Very exciting. We'll have a lot of fun here. So, my journey with NIFT started. I have to now scratch my brain because it's like full of so many ideas currently that I'm working on. So what happened was that I, of course, like as a child, I was very interested in painting and sculpting. Those used to be my favorite pastime. Okay. So, and I was very fortunate also that I got support from my parents. And so that's how I grew up. I remember sculpting in the backyard of my home, where, so I used to pick up the clay from the garden and sculpt figures of Ram and Lakshman, complete Ramayana, all the characters, and even Krishna and Krishna Leela. I was very fond of all these gods also, somewhere. So that's how my childhood used to be, and least interest in studies. Least. I was a backbencher. Okay.
Seriously?
Seriously, I was a backbencher. But when it came to things like subjects like geometry, without studying, I used to score maximum marks. And then I was also very much fond of electronics. And you won't believe, while I was in grade 10th, I made a robot which used to walk. Like, it had like some sensors. I like, connected a lot of circuits together to deploy different functions. So like imagine at that age, like, so I had a lot of interest in art as well as science, both. So then, but I had no idea what I wanted to do, like, as when I grow up. So a friend of mine, he introduced me to this field called architecture. He said,
Right.
okay, like, you can do architecture Divyendu. And he knew someone, like, and so he connected me to that person who used to study in SPA. So I met that person. I said, okay, please guide me. So I visited Delhi and I visited the campus also. I liked it and I applied for SPA. The first time, SPA, School of Planning Architecture. I had no idea about design. Okay, so first year I applied for SPA. I did not get through. Now, the year after that, I came to know about NIFT.
Correct.
I don't know how, from where, but I think it was perhaps there in newspaper or somewhere that there is something called, yes, I think from newspaper I came to know.
Right.
Imagine those days. So I saw that, okay, they have this course, design course. I said, okay, let me apply. I applied for it. I got through. So that year I applied for SP also. Okay. And I got through in the first round, but in the second round, I didn't get through.
SPA.
SPA, yes. But I got through in NIFT. So I was a bit sad. I said, because I was so attached to SPA, like, architecture, I should. But then I accepted it as my fate. I said, maybe there's some planning,
Right.
So I joined NIFT. And very interesting, like having come from small town, I got a cultural shock when I
Came to NIFT.
came to NIFT campus. I saw like
You're from Bokaro.
Bokaro.
Right. You got a cultural shock in NIFT.
Yeah. So I thought that, I cannot stay in this place. I better try for somewhere else. But that thought remained there for a couple of weeks. After that, it just subsided and I adjusted to the new atmosphere.
Right. So cultural shock बोल के I want to inquire into this. Cultural shock मुझे भी हुआ था. So this is my entry into NIFT where my father has come to drop me at NIFT. So my father is in between. Right hand side पे there's my local guardian's son and I on this side. We are of similar age group. We walk inside. We're just entering NIFT. और यहाँ पे there was this partition, rock wall, a masonry wall kind of a thing. I don't know what you call it. There's a name for it. There is a couple sitting up to some mischief, very openly. And see, I'm from a small town, right? These are things I've seen only in movies. Reality में तो कभी देखा नहीं है. And my father, he and I walking inside, and I was like, अभी पिताजी ने देखा ना, बोलेंगे about turn forward much. Very fortunately, I kind of अड़की से देखा, सीधा देख भी नहीं सकते मुझे की तरफ. I took a step back and ऐसे देखा कि dad just walking in as though nothing has happened under the sun. So I just walked straight inside and my friend or local guardian's son who was there, he also acknowledged my smile and we just smirked and we went inside. So ये 2-3 दिन घूमना फिरना जो भी admission लेना वो सब कुछ हो गया. And then when my father was leaving, he was like, thank you बोल दिया कर यार. तुम्हारी मम्मी होती तो about turn forward match हो जाता.
Wow. Fantastic that. Wow.
So, full marks for being a cool dad. So yeah, so culture shock तो भैया बहुत गंदा वाला हुआ
बहुत
था
गंदा
मुझे.
था, seriously.
But how did you get out of the culture shock? How did you deal with
No,
it?
just gradually it happened, perhaps. Because I think I realized, and then I start speaking to myself, what will I do if I leave the place? Because I have nowhere else to go. So for very practical reasons, I had to adjust. Right? Yeah.
You did accessories design in
Yes.
it. Okay. And so what after that? What?
He went to Michael Aram State. That bit I know. I'm curious about what he took away from accessory design.
That's what.
Because,
So,
yeah.
See, I think during the whole 3-year tenure at NIFT, I think I kind of was still lost completely. While I think most of the students were very clear about what path they wanted to pursue, who wants to become what, and what is the career, and what are their dreams like. I was lost completely. I was into a world of philosophy.
At NIFT.
At NIFT also.
Wow.
Nobody was aware about, but internally it was there. That quest, that thirst was there so much. So it's very interesting. I remember that in the first semester, we had this module called visual.
VNR, visualization and representation.
Yeah, and then there was maybe that it was that, or there was something that Sangeeta Shroff took, So where we were supposed to write a few lines about ourselves, and we had to create a collage or something like that. So people created different things. Somebody said, I am a bird, I am this, I am that. And I made a face, and I just tore it 4 times, and I made different elements inside that. So I said, every time I searched for myself, I found the mixed version of various human qualities. So I was still searching. I was not sure who I were, that point of time. The first semesters was incredible because it was purely skill-based. And by God's grace, I had good skills. Decent skills, I would say that. There are other students also who are good.
I have gone to you for advice.
Achha, okay. I topped in the first semester and I got scholarship also. Can you believe it? Yes.
Right. Nice. Yeah. I didn't know this.
And I used that money to buy camera for myself. I got SLR in the first semester, only end of the first semester.
Kaun sa wala?
It was again, the film camera. It was Canon something. Yeah.
You were a Canon person, not a Nikon person.
So it was not the digital camera. It was...
Yeah. Film camera, जो घुमाना पड़ता था
हाँ. उसमें मुझे Canon ही मिला था because I picked that from old Delhi and I had no idea क्या pick करना क्या नहीं करना So I just went there. I just liked something. I picked it up.
Because Shailendra Parker was a Nikon promoter. And they're like Coke and Pepsi, right? They never married each other.
But anyway, that just came to me. So yeah. But then other semesters, it was all about concept and idea generation. I was lost because I feel that I don't really understand the details of the world. I'm here as an individual, but my mind is always somewhere else. So I had very challenging time, I would say that, although I enjoyed, but I just could not really learn much, I would say that. But yes, the practical skills, yes,
Nice. In some sense, there's an overlap of feeling. I don't think so it is the exact feeling, but for the lack of words. There are multiple times, especially a few years after having graduated, this question has crossed my mind as to मैं सीख के क्या है? Because I clearly wasn't being able to quantify it for myself at work. So now that you're saying this, that they sharpened skills, but you didn't know what you had taken away.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it is... I gained something, but again, it is at a very subconscious level or something maybe I'm not aware of even, perhaps. Or maybe I don't pay much attention to, perhaps you could say that. Something that is not so important for me, maybe, then you ignore it. So I remember during NIF days, I think we used to have different modules, let's say jewelry module, or there was some costume jewelry. And at the end of the modules, I always used to feel that why I can't design. I don't feel inspired. And interestingly, the same thing happened during 19 years of my work with Michael Aram. And I used to always tell this to Michael, I don't know how to get inspired. See, I sustained through Michael Aram also because of my skills and my hard work and sincerity. Purely because of that.
Yeah.
I never felt connected to the design. Never, ever. I felt that there is something missing. Why am I taking even inspiration from shells? Or a leaf, or a flower. So that I was just not connecting. And I'll tell you, what will follow, because that's where this whole art came into picture.
Right. That's a curious point for me to reach, but I kind of wanted to understand what you've picked up prior to that. You have something to come.
I just want to understand who and what is Michael Aram.
He's an American-based artist. He's a very renowned artist who basically works in tabletop accessories. So he creates all these wonderful objects in metal. Earlier he was known as Metal Guru, I remember. And I remember he came to once to NIFT also for a workshop. And he gave a speech also, he presented his work. So I could not connect to his work, and lest I knew that I would be actually joining him. I had literally no idea or even inclination towards that. So he is quite a renowned tabletop designer, very, very popular. He creates all these products based on natural themes like flowers and all whimsical.
In India?
In India, the production happens in India and China, but his main studio is in India only. That's where he started working.
Okay. And what were you doing for him?
So I was basically, initially I joined as an associate designer. I joined as assistant to Manreet. Do you remember Manreet?
Yes.
She used to, of course, yeah. So, and then gradually I started taking on more responsibilities. And then finally, like when I left, I was the general manager of Michael.
Right. So Manjeet came in after Mukul Goyal,
Yes.
and then you took over.
I took half. When Manjeet left, then you can say, then there was another partner of Michael, Francis Joseph, who is an Indian. He's like known to Shalin Parker. Yeah. So he then was Michael's partner for some time, for 2-3 years. And then I took over after that.
Right. When did Mudita happen?
Mudita happened while I was there. So that when I joined, I think the year after I joined, I think she joined. She was my immediate junior, or I don't know, like.
No, those saal.
Do saal, na, हाँ,
2001.
2001. So I think she, yeah. So I think she joined 2 years after I joined, yeah.
How does, see, NID I understand is Institute for Design, and everything is covered. But NIFT is, at least when we were in college, for us, NIFT was like a fashion school where you go to learn fashion design, fashion technology, and that's what it stands for. So how does somebody who goes to a NIFT, who studies anything to do with fashion, end up being a sculptor?
Yeah. See, that's I think.
Can I cut you off here?
Yes.
Can I have a prelude to that question?
Yeah.
I'm kind of privy to his work a bit, right? I mean, apart from the fact that he's a senior, I've also seen his work while he was in college, right? And he was highly skilled. Like, you knew his work and you knew that. Also, I saw the diligence that he spoke about. Like, I don't know what he was doing with watches, but I remember एक पूरी sketch pad में he was just making ellipses, right? And he was like, अगर घड़ी बनाना है तो this should, अंधे में भी तुम्हारा ये ellipse perspective clear होना चाहिए. And I mean, one of the things that he had said, that was a very technical product. Where were you for watches? How did that happen?
Well,
This is before Michael.
Yeah, this is before Michael, during college only. I think I did one project with Timex. We had some industry project, I remember, for 2-3 months. So that was a team project, group project. And then I also did my diploma, graduation, you can say. And we used to call it diploma project during our days, right?
Yeah.
So with JECO. So I was very fascinated with watches, actually, somewhere. I don't know what was the connection, but I was very fascinated with the forms of the watches.
But you never pursued it.
I never pursued it after that.
You go straight to Michael. What was the journey in Michael like? Because you just mentioned that you went from an associate designer all the way to a general manager. There are a couple of questions. One is a question that may not concern you, but I think it will be informative for the audience at large. That for all practical purposes, people who know Michael Aram will look at his outfit as a creatively centered boutique outfit.
Yeah, you can say that.
Right? And he's into tabletop or tableware accessories. Premium, or is it super luxury in US?
Well, it is premium as well as luxury, both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not sold here in India?
I have not seen his
I think
products
maybe
yet.
some store in Mumbai, perhaps.
But it'll be hiked up.
Of course. Definitely. I mean, price point was, I think, Michael Aram is still very reasonable as compared to very luxurious high-end brands. Still like very,
Yeah.
What he calls it is affordable luxury.
Right. So from that point of view, it will not be very wrong to call his products premium as well. I want to understand from you, when you started doing this, it is Michael's products are sculptural, organic, inspired by nature. There is a lot of exploration. There is a lot of trial and error. Nature does play a huge role. It is high on desire quotient. Right? At least at that point of time, that is how it is to get perceived.
Right.
What did working for Michael Aram do for you as a creative person?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I learned all the hands-on skills at Michael Aram only because in college, I mean, you have a very limited exposure to the hands-on work, right? Like, we had those workshops, like wood workshop or jewelry workshop, but again, they're like very limited. And the application of that in the practical industry, of course, was not there much. Like, you don't really learn so much. But wherein with Michael Aram, of course, you learn, like, pick up all those skills and hands-on, how to apply it in the final product. And plus, you also learn the networking skills, management skills, because I was like exposed to all these things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So yes, I think it was incredible. Like I think the artist in me awakened when I joined Michael Ram, you can say that. Because Michael himself being an artist, like when I started with him, he used to like sculpt with his hand, and they were like very sculptural works initially. Now it has changed completely. It has become very refined and so-called luxurious, which I somehow don't understand. I have my own definition of luxury. We'll come to that.
Sure.
Okay, it's very interesting. The Michael Ram actually gave me the platform to hone my artistic skills, because I got a lot of freedom to explore there with material, with form, and also dabble in different departments, like, not just in design, but also understanding the development. Because, unless you have that exposure, you can't really
Take it forward.
take it forward,
as,
right.
as an associate designer, that is your limit.
Yes. So I was exposed to all the different aspects of the business, like from design to development to production, to understand the management, everything. So yes, I owe so much, like I would say to.
Did he mentor you, or you went in?
I don't know. That's a tricky question. I think just looking at an artist working, like you gain so much. Right?
You saw him work.
I saw him working.
Hold. It is an American luxury brand or premium brand or whatever it is. He's based out of there. He runs a show from there. How much time did he spend in India?
Earlier in those days, good old days, he used to spend months and months here in India. Because because I don't know if you know about his past life in India or not. Before that, like when I joined, like, his boyfriend was Sunit Verma.
Yeah, that bit I'm aware of.
So of course, he lived in India for long,
a very long
and
time.
earlier, like, he used to spend maximum time in India. So I remember he used to spend like months and months, and very rarely he used to go to
the
US.
US. Yeah.
It's only like in the later years that when he got married, he had partner and he had children, that he started spending more time. But I remember I was very fortunate that I could spend so much of time with Michael. We used to do like shopping together. We used to do shoot together days and days and work together. Amazing, like incredible.
Right.
What materials did you work on when you were there? What was your role?
See,
What
Michael
exactly?
was basically initially started with metal. So as I said, he was known as a metal guru. So he used to work with metal a lot, like, and he specialized in combination of metal, which was
Basically
like really rare.
bowls and stuff
Like bowls.
that.
So like, for example, like body was in stainless steel, and the handles or legs or whatever you can say, they were in brass. So that kind of combination was really unique to India, because earlier, if you look at the handicraft industry, it used to produce goods just in one media, like let's say just brass. Like Muradabad was known for brass only, right? Primarily. Steel was not there during those days. Like, it only came, I think, with perhaps Michael, I would say that, because he was the one who really inspired, it set that trend.
Right.
Yeah. So like all these material he started with initially with the metal, I would say combination of different metal.
I've seen brass. I've also seen silver.
Silver, very little, but of course, yes, silver plating, which used to call EPNS, where electroplated nickel silver.
Right.
But very little silver he used to do.
Aluminum, yes.
Aluminum, yes.
His famous chair.
His famous
with
chair.
the
skeleton
skeleton.
chair. And there are like other lava table also. Yeah.
While you were working with Michael, did you get, in that phase, did you have influences that pushed you in the direction of art? Or did you have to practice design and do everything that you were doing to come to a place and say, hey, I'm an artist?
See, as I said, I have been very unconscious about being a designer and an artist. I had no idea how you take inspiration. Like, so even during the Michael Ram days, I had that quest. Like, so I could never feel inspired. It sounds very strange, but as a designer, I was working there as a designer, but I never felt connected. But I used to execute things. It was very interesting. Like hands-on, I was very good with skills. Although Michael, whenever I used to go to Michael and say, Michael, I don't get it. I'm sorry. I don't know how to design and I want to leave. He said, no. Even I don't understand design. So he used to always
play along.
But I was very truthful. to myself and to everyone around that I can't design, and I was just executing things. If there was a discussion, like we used to work as a team, so they're like 2-3 designers,
Yeah,
so we used to discuss ideas. So let's say if there was an idea for some kind of floral motif, so we say, okay, how do we do it? So then we start executing it. We used to bring twigs or maybe sculpt the leaf. So I really enjoyed that process of sculpting.
What was the working like? Like let's say if I were to compare it with an architecture studio, where as a student, when we pass out and go and join, the first thing that we do is basic drawings.
Yeah.
So when you joined here from NIF, in NIF you did a lot of modeling and model making and stuff like that. So when you went here, was it a lot of desk job? Did you do a lot of drawing on softwares with your hands? What was it like? What does that first 2-3 years take in once you move out of NIFT?
See, as I started as an associate designer, so of course I have to assist the senior designer. So I was doing a lot of running job initially. Okay, so I was visiting vendors to execute projects because there used to be projects and they have to be completed on time. So I used to go with the field person, who understands production. So that ways I understood the production aspect, the technical aspect, and exposure to material, everything, all the practical aspects of the development and production I understood. So those were the initial days. And then, of course, being a designer, I was asked to design also. And of course, I was also tempted to design because, when you have that creative mind. Yes, we used to do a bit of sketching to present our concepts. But very little, I would say that. Not
exhaustive.
Not exhaustive, yeah.
And not detailed completely.
Not detailed completely. Because as I said, Michael Ram was more of hands-on, used to just have the concept and to just sculpt it, with little detailing of sketch, and then you just go ahead and sculpt it. So it was a lot of sculpting job, I could say that. We also used to have pattern makers. So I used to work when we have any project. Yeah. Of course, some drawings used to come from clients also. We used to work for Vecca also, Willemy Corners. So we had some projects.
I remember
Vecca. You remember that, huh? Even Mukul used to I think do the production for that. So it depends. There used to be various kind of projects and the approach used to be different with everyone. So
now I was just trying to understand what's the nature of work that happens once you move out from college to a place like this. Are you only making stuff? Are you drawing? Because you're working with somebody. So are you trying to replicate their idea on a drawing board? Or how? What does it take to...
Yeah. See, whatever we have to create, it has to be aligned to his vision, of course, because he is the artist, So yes, so things have to be in line with what he gets inspired with, like nature, sculpted, or even something related to craft also. If there is any process that inspire him or us, we can go ahead and design. So of course, so we used to do a bit of sketching. Computer-wise, I remember we had computers, but bit of photoshopping and just creating Excel files, because we used to work with these buying agencies also. So you have to create list of items, also check spec sheets. Yeah, so those used to be the practices those days. And then a lot of hands-on, as I said, we used to work with after sculpting, it used to be so amazing because we had the casting unit within our office, unit. So the moment we used to enter on the left side, the caster used to work. So such lovely smell of molasses, when used to open the mold.
The jaggery.
Jaggery. Yeah. तो वो सब चीज़ें थी, तो बड़ा मज़ा आता था कि कुछ बनाए फटाफट, you sculpt, because Michael, I think first one who started sculpting in Sculpey, we call it Sculpey,
उसको
so
bake करके
it's a clay that you can bake in oven, so it hardens in few minutes. तो वो फटाफट बनाए, स्कल्प्ट किया, बेक किया और कास्टिंग के लिए दे दिया, और वो आधे घंटे में निकल गया. Amazing. It is to be so fascinating, I can tell you. तो इस तरह से चीज़ें, that's how we used to create things. We had carigars, sheet maker, caster, forger, someone who can do the deburring. So we had all sort of
turning.
Turning also,
उसको क्या कहते हैं जो लेथ पे घुमाते थे?
Lathe.
That is turning. Lathe.
That is turning. No, Michael also had.
अच्छा, वो spinning का काम होता है.
Spinning
का, उसमें जो you create shapes, right? जो खिंचाई करके करते हैं.
And there was another one.
Yeah.
Correct. And you also had a machine that used to make cones. metal sheet से cones बनता था.
हाँ वो भी बनता है. हाँ हाँ.
I remember going to Michael's studio along with Mukul Goel because we had to make something which was metal sheet in more like a conical thingy. So it was a mechanical machine, but you had two rollers and they were not like cylindrical drums, they were conical drums. तो उसको आप calibrate कर सकते थे.
Ah, right.
And you used to basically pass the sheet inside and slowly bend it as to become a...
Because there was some product for which we had to make cones, which was Vesuvio walls cones. Yeah. So I think that was in a triangular shape, the top part. So perhaps that would have been made with that process, perhaps.
So was there any other competition, Indian brand competition to Michael Aram when you were there?
Not that point of time. I think Michael had his own unique style. I think he was the first one to introduce twigware, like nature-inspired cutlery. First one, he's the, yeah.
I've made a
He's the
few
leader,
or
yes.
inspired similar products with Mukul myself.
So
So he had his unique identity, absolutely.
is there a better option now for somebody?
I think there are, of course, a lot of other brands have started getting inspired by nature now. I think the whole Muradabad is filled with Michael Aram knockoffs now.
Right.
But I think aesthetic-wise, I think Michael is still the leader. I would say that in the natural language.
That kind of
that kind of, yeah.
Because the reason why I ask is now with stores like Lifestyle and all of these Home Stop and all of the those kind of stores where there's a lot of home decor stuff available. A lot of the stuff is available there. Maybe it might be bought out of China and they're selling here, but it's all there.
Right.
So for somebody who's passing out of college, say today, or maybe they're due to pass out anytime, what are the options they have as somebody who's moving out from NIF, not from fashion, but from accessories or related fields? What are the options that they have in today's time for them to...
See, first of all, I've been out of touch with the design industry for pretty long. I think since 2017. And although I'm back to Michael as a consultant, so it's a very part-time job. So I'm not really much into that world. But from whatever I know of, I think a lot of students get into merchandising, from design background. Because, not all of them have that creative flair. Few of them are very good with the management aspect, or they're good with products, following a production. So I've seen a lot of people, students, joining merchandising, right? And then I think there are so many options nowadays, I feel, because, Michael Aram is not the only aesthetic, right? There are brands with other aesthetics also different,
loads of them.
Loads. Especially now, I think people have so many ideas now. There are few are playing with material, others are playing with some different category.
Surface finishes, different kinds of
yes, exactly.
reflectiveness.
So I think people have a lot of opportunity, but I don't know the names. I can't call any names because I'm a little out of touch.
So you worked there for about 20 years.
Yes.
Started as an associate designer, moved all the way up to a general manager. What made you leave and why did you leave and what are you doing now?
Now you're coming to the point. So while I was holding a very good position, I was earning good salary, had very good relationship, you can say family relationship with Michael, we were that close. But somehow I felt that I really enjoyed the creative expression of the house also somewhere those were the initial years only. But later on, I felt that when it started becoming more repetitive, because you're doing the same thing, you're not creating the same thing, but the whole process is same, right? And you're creating the twig and leaves and flowers. I just felt that they were just too limiting. And I was not able to express who am I. And that feeling got so intense. I mean, I think that started long back. I would say that not at the end of 19 years. Perhaps that may have started 7-8 years prior to that, I felt that at the end of 19 years, I felt that if I don't leave right now, I'm going to die, you can say that. I lose myself completely. Also, I felt that there was a sense of meaninglessness in what we were doing. because, we are just creating things to sell. It is all commercial.
Mhm.
And, the thing with aesthetic is that, human beings have this natural inclination towards beautiful objects. They appreciate beautiful objects and ideas, right? Now, I felt that there was somewhere lack of meaning and value in what I was doing, because what I was doing was creating, selling. Of course, it was brand was just doing it, but I felt that the work that I was doing, it was not utilized. My skills were not utilized for the welfare of humanity. I have been a big idealistic since my childhood.
That I'm aware of myself.
So I remember as a child, I used to think about justice and peace and also had a lot of philosophical quests, like about life and death and God, all those things I had. So they were, of course, they continued, like as I was, I did not let them faint, because a lot of people have those things in the childhood, but and they die somehow, that fire. But that was so vibrant within me. And due to that, I was just feeling that there is a kind of meaninglessness in what I'm doing. There's no value I'm adding to the humanity, to the society. And I always felt that our lives are for others. That was my ethos, that's how I've been brought up, also in the kind of environment I got. So which I was missing, So I just said, okay, now enough is enough. I have to go now. And I broke the news to Michael. I wrote him a mail. And of course, he was shocked completely, because, we really shared incredible chemistry. He always feels, even now, he feels that Dev understand, they call me Dev. Dev understands me very well. He don't have to tell me anything, what to make. It just happens, So that was the thing, I felt that I have to do something meaningful. And it was very interesting. I have to share this with you. After joining Michael Aram, I think I barely spent 6 months or a year. This feeling hit me that what am I doing here? I was not born to, I did not share this with you earlier, but I should have. So there's so many things actually.
Yeah.
So,
Right from the beginning that issue was, and still you lasted for 20 years.
Right. So, but that's okay. So then I was talking to myself. I said, this was not what I was born for, not to just make and sell things. I was born for something much more meaningful. And then that part of time, I felt connected to art. And our office was in Shahpur Jat during those days. And very in the vicinity only, there is this gallery of, who is this artist? I'm forgetting her name. Gosh, I'm so bad. Very popular artist. So she has near City Ford Auditorium, Aparna Kaur.
Aparna Kaur.
Kaur, I guess so, yes. So she has her gallery there. So I used to visit that space, and I really felt connected to a few things. And then I visited a couple of more exhibitions somewhere in the Lado Sarai area. So I felt something there. I felt that the art is talking to me. And that's how I felt that design was not my part of journey, it's not my forte also. I felt that point of time, because I just could not connect to it. So that feeling seeped into me that, I have to do something meaningful. I have to do something meaningful. So that was a momentary thing, that lasted for a few months or few weeks. But then I got very busy at Michael Aram, delivering my responsibilities, because one after another, I had projects and responsibilities, and I kept growing there also, because I was very hardworking. And so I forgot all those things. But yet the quest within continued. And I used to meditate. I still meditate. But, I was very fortunate that I was born in a family who does pure spiritual practice. Not religious, nothing religious. It was pure sitting and meditating and finding yourself. No ghanta bajana, koi bhagwan, koi murti puja, kuch bhi nahi, nothing. And sentient food.
Which year was this approximately?
This was since childhood I was...
You have been doing it. So it's a part of your everyday practice.
It was part of my everyday practice. So I was very fortunate that I'm saying I was born in that family. But initially I used to curse that. Ye kya hai yaar? Itna limitation hai, itna bondage hai. This is very interesting, I'm telling you. Because it's with discipline only that you gain freedom. We don't understand that. But that's very important discipline to gain that freedom, because freedom happens only in the psycho-spiritual plane. In the physical realm, you can never be free, because it's finite world. You'll always be limited, bogged down.
Finite in terms of the time being finite to you.
No, see, the thing is, everything that exists in this world is finite.
Sure, I get that principally or philosophically.
Because they have finite life, also.
That is time.
That is time, yes,
Yeah.
you can say that.
So basically, okay.
And in terms of vibration also, they have wave, finite wave, you can say that. So yeah, I used to be connected to that. I used to meditate. I used to be touching a lot of these saintly people also. So I had a very interesting upbringing, you can say. So I have been in touch with these ideas, these values, very lofty ideals in life. That what is the goal of life? What is your role in the society?
Right.
What you hear in Mahabharata. I watched Mahabharata several times and just...
Seriously?
Amazing. If you really want to understand life, Mahabharata. Practically, to maintain that balance. Because generally, we always get imbalance. Either we become too spiritual and we try to renounce, or we become too materialistic.
Right.
So how, being a realized person, you can play your role in the society, that it gets benefited from your knowledge.
Good.
It's amazing.
There's a side I know of that I don't know whether you want to call it religion, philosophy, spirituality, whichever way. But going back to college days as well, you had that side. We've spoken about it in college, right?
Okay, I don't remember that, but...
Right. And no, you were trying to inspire me or encourage me. And I didn't have a spiritual side, right? I had the aftermath of what you also faced, but you dealt with it differently and I dealt with it differently. For me also, the culture shock was huge. And one aspect of the culture shock, if I can quantify that today, was the fact that culture shock, at least in my life, it created a kind of question and in some sense a collapse of values.
Okay.
Right? What I had grown up to believe as important and thus valuable did not continue, or in action I did not see the same thing in college or in that context. So the culture shock kind of rattled me there. And now I can talk at length also about it from the point of view that when a person moves from one culture, which upholds a few things and works in a certain way, thus the definition or the framework of a culture itself, when they move to another culture, the same framework doesn't hold good. There is a point of settling in when things get questioned and there is a recalibration. Anybody who resists that probably doesn't fit into the culture and becomes an outcast in a community. And for me, I tried very hard to fit in, right? And that was disorienting almost. So that is to explain my take on the culture shock that I felt. And it is this context that I think I spoke to multiple people. There was Swapnil Ranjan.
Swapnil, yes.
Yeah. You were there. There were a couple of people I spoke with, seniors essentially, to be able to clarify things. So I know from those conversations that you had a spiritual or philosophical side at that point of time. And now that I see you after, 25 years?
Yeah.
Probably more than that.
More than that, 26 years.
After college, we haven't met. And it so seems that there are three things that are interconnected, or if not integrated, interconnected in your brain. The spiritual side, right, which is there's a connection to you, seem to have a great awareness of who you are, and that quest has always been there, and your creative expression. These three dimensions or these three cornerstones, am I getting you right so far?
Yeah.
Right? If you could throw some light on it as to what was this journey, because you were talking about you not finding that connect in Michael Aram, and at some point of time you moved on.
Yeah, and not finding that connect during NIF days also, being a design student, which was quite unusual, you can say.
And you were a good student at NIFT. I mean, we as juniors, we looked up to you, your skills, your diligence, your sincerity, your hard work. So it's not that you were one of the strays, kiske jaisa mat ban. Iske jaisa bun was the order of the day. So you were a good student at NIFT.
Right. So what happened? There's something which is quite eventful that happened post NIFT. I started staying in Green Park with a person whom I came to know then only, like after NIFT, like somebody introduced me. And he was from a different industry. He was from electronic industry. He worked with some television company. Okay, so we shared a room, space in Green Park. And as you have noticed that I had that spiritual quest, since NIFT days only. But that got even more intensified after I graduated from NIFT. I started meditating a lot. I started reading a lot of books. And I got something from my parents, right? They were following a certain lifestyle or certain values, certain practice. But I questioned everything. I said, why that? So I got in touch with sannyasi, you can say that. Okay, he used to live in Malviya Nagar. And I used to visit him. So he knew my father also. So he used to talk a lot about my father, that how my father is such a great person. He's doing so much of work. And that really pinched me. I said, okay, he's telling me that I'm not doing anything. Like he wanted to inspire me to do something like, for humanity and all those things. So I said, okay, let me also now do something. So I started meditating more and more. And I started reading books of other faiths also. Like, I read ISKCON, a bit of Christianity and Islam also. I just touched upon them. So I was meditating. I remember that every morning I used to wake up, cook also my food and meditate. And after my job also, I developed a kind of, you can say जो तलब नहीं होती है, जो नशा हो गया था meditate करने का. तो वो मेरा चल रहा था वो चीज़. So, and that led to some incredible realizations. I actually started understanding the words of all the great people, which is very hard to understand because otherwise they're just merely words. For example, I remember during school days, our principal used to, during assembly, he used to read the poem of Rabindranath Tagore, where the mind is held high. What is that?
Yeah.
Remember that?
I remember the poem. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I don't remember the words, but I remember the poem.
I remember we used to just follow him. But that point of time, I said, oh my God, this was written at such an elevated state of mind. So I could actually feel the thoughts of all the great people, of Buddha even, of Jesus or any great. There came a time when I actually felt like the center of the universe. I became absolutely fearless. I was in a different world, completely ecstatic, completely disconnected, or you can say detached from the twin elemental world. And my mind became so powerful that whatever I used to think used to manifest also. So I was in that state for several months, maybe 6 to 8 months.
Approximately which year is this?
This was immediately after passing NIFT. I would say 99, something around that. 99.
Right.
Yeah, 99, 2000, around that time. And then I had out-of-body experience. That was a turning point. I'll tell you what, during NIFT, even I got little influenced. I said, okay, because, I remember our AD shows.
Right.
So where the motto used to be designed for business.
Correct.
So, we used to talk a lot about brand and all those things. So I also started getting influenced by that. So I used to consider myself as a brand. So I have to pretend and, be something who you are not. So I was influenced somewhere. It rubbed onto me as well. But that point, and while I was moving towards a very materialistic or you can say crude world, I think universe had a different plan. And so when I had this out-of-body experience, my life shook. It just took a U-turn.
I want to know what that out-of-body experience was.
I'll tell you that. So I realized that I'm not this body. The body is a pure mechanical order. Nothing else. You're something else. And I could see the mechanical order of the body. I'm here and I'm like looking at my body. So that experience was the turning point in my life. And it just changed the course of my life completely. I became so clear about the journey of life, journey and goal. And after that, I became so careful with the path I have to choose in terms of even the career. Because a lot of times what happens, I'm telling you that even though we are from a creative industry, there are a lot of people, but not all the creativity can lead to fulfillment. Because creativity is a blind force. You have to understand that. It's a Shakti.
It is a Shakti.
It's a Shakti. It is a Shakti. It's a creative force. उसी से तो creation हुआ है, Shakti. There are two aspects to creation. The consciousness, the awareness, and the operative principle. That is Shakti. Shiva और Shakti कहते हैं, पुरुष प्रकृति जो हम कहते हैं. And world is nothing but the interplay of both. It has both the aspect. They're inseparable though, but to understand it, you have to understand both of them separately to be able to have more clear understanding of the philosophy. Right? This is what is tantric philosophy is. Shiva Shakti.
Right.
तो वो जो था ना कि वो तो वही कि creativity में भी जो बहुत सारी चीज़ें हम ऐसे कर रहे हैं, although I could be pursuing a certain path, the creative path, I'm creating a lot of stuff, I'm selling, but it may actually create problems for the humanity as a whole, which a lot of people don't understand. It's a very subtle line because you are in such a flow and you enjoy the creative flow, right? And you are so much within yourself that you fail to see how the collective mind will get affected by your creation. Like right now, the junk culture, we're just creating so much of noise. So what we do is, of course, since all the human beings appreciate aesthetics, so we create something which is aesthetically beautiful. People love that. They have money. They buy them. They get bored after 6 months or a year. They change it. So there's no fulfillment. So what we're creating it's the same thing again and again, and it is not leading to any fulfillment. So what is the point of that creation? I'm saying you're wasting so much of resources. There are environmental issues. So creativity also has to be pursued with a proper understanding of its effect on the collective psyche. So life, coming back to that, life took a U-turn and I gained something from that. I said, wow, what a realization of self. I felt so fulfilled. I actually wanted to take sannyas. Can you believe it?
Right.
But I think I had some desire perhaps, worldly desire of getting married and all those things. So of course I came back, but I just felt very detached. And then gradually I started, so it was a very imbalanced emotion, I can say that, or state of being that point of time, because I was just there and I was not able to maintain that link or balance with the mundane world. But gradually I realized that I have to maintain that balance. So slowly, and I started getting back to the balanced state of maintaining the balance between both the worlds.
Mm.
And then came this thing that, now I know who am I. I have the self-knowledge, self-awareness. Now, what do I do? How do I utilize it for the welfare of humanity? Because that has been always there since childhood. I don't know what kind of karma I did in my past. I think I must have been a sinner. I must have committed grave crimes that during death, I may have this repentance and redemption that, I have to do something good for humanity. That's how the cycle of life goes on.
Right.
I'm just sharing that with you. So then this, again, that initial thought when I had joined my job, Michael Ram, that I have to do something meaningful. And this idea of art came into being. It again resurfaced after that realization. Okay, I have to do something. What do I do? But I just could not do much because, as I said, I got very busy with my job. And I was cooking also myself. So very busy, but amazing. Like those days, I would say I was in such a state. I think I've written also a lot. And whatever I used to talk, people used to be just amazed. It used to come from somewhere else.
Right.
Okay. Pure philosophy. And I felt so much of love, ecstatic flow of love for everyone. I felt that the whole universe is mine. So that happened, that remained for some time. I think the whole stress of work, I think somehow took away that awareness. Gradually that went away. But the essence was always there. Because life is systematic. It will never remain same. You are in a very high awareness, aware state, then it will come down also sometimes. You have to constantly struggle. So I always used to say that, I actually tasted that point of time when I had that realization, the drop of that ocean.
Ocean of?
Ocean of love.
Right.
That eternity.
Right.
And that was so intoxicating. Remember I told you that I did drink a few times with Kaushik,
Right.
But after experiencing that ecstasy, I'm telling you, जो दारू वारू का जो नशा है ना, बाकी सब नशा फेल है बिल्कुल. I went crazy. I went mad. I started chasing that after that, you can say that. कि नहीं, मेरे को तो वहाँ पहुँचना. So that became the goal of my life. कि okay, I have to now be with that infinite awareness. Because, when you become the nucleus, when you are aware about everything, when you feel everything, when you're fully alive, how amazing. And you're absolutely free. No fear, no insecurity. So I realized the goal of my life, okay, that is the state I want. But of course, as I said, that life is systematic, it's like vibrational. So that awareness came down, and it happened and I remember sometimes again I felt like meditating. I meditated again, mind again went into ecstatic flow, but it was like on and off. It was never ever consistent. But that awareness was there that this is my goal now. And what do I do for the collective humanity? Because see, one is who you are, finding who you are in this world, first of all. Now that was done, right? Now, what is your role in this world? And of course, you have to understand the world also. What is the world? Because unless, see, बहुत लोग कहते हैं ना कि हम ये कर रहे हैं, हम वो कर रहे हैं, मैं अपने आप को express कर रहा हूँ as an artist. अरे, who are you, first of all? You have to understand that. And that is very important. So while you're on a creative journey, yes, you create because you feel like creating. But this questioning is very important, who you are. Without that, you will not reach that state of fulfillment.
Right.
You will always be unquenched, despite of how successful you become financially or fame-wise, you will feel hollow within.
Ek second. Let me connect the dots. We spoke about two cornerstones. One was the awareness of the self and the fact that you've got a spiritual side. Two sides of you, two cornerstones.
It's the same thing, actually.
Right. And in what I'm understanding from this conversation so far is the fact that to you they are blended. The two sides of the same coin in some sense. Did I get that right?
Right.
Please
वही
continue.
चीज़ है, खुद जो बोलते हैं ना, खुदा वही है, spirituality वही है. Understanding, knowing oneself is real knowledge. So the life is nothing but it's a quest for your real identity, who you are. Generally what happens is that due to dogmas imposed on us or preconceived, notions that we are this and that. See, even if when you're born, you don't know when you're born actually as a child. But parents tell you that you're born in this day and they celebrate your birthday. This is 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Today I say, okay, I'm 50. But close your eyes and think, do you ever recall when you were born?
No, of course not.
Right. So you are actually, in essence, eternal being. Abhi is age mein aane ke baad bhi I feel the same. I don't see any difference in the awareness. We all feel it, right? So that has been imposed. There are a lot of these things which actually work against the very want of our inner yearning. What we really yearn for, deep within. It works against that. We have built boundaries and shackles.
When you say shackles, what do you mean?
Shackles means even...
What are these? Can you give us an example?
These exist at different levels. Like, for example, even, let's say being a human, like we talk about humanism, okay? Now, when you talk about humanism, I say, okay, I'm a human being. But then as a human being, if I ignore the dignity of lives of animals and plants, it means our consciousness is not yet expanded. I mean, it's limiting, because then it becomes a lot of religion. They say that, these animals are made for you and you can exploit them for your own benefit or whatever. But no, you don't have the right. So that is a kind of idea or doctrine that has been imposed on us, that, okay, you're human, you're superior, and you can exploit anything. And similarly, doctrines like nationalism, religion, they create boundaries in your mind. And that's very dangerous, because then you're confined. It's like this. Let's say, when you talk in the physical domain, if I tie you to this chair, would you be happy?
Sure. No, I'm not. I can't be happy.
You can't be happy. And if I untie you and say, okay, you can roam around this room, you get a little bit of freedom. So you feel a little happy, little relieved. Then I say, okay, now you can go out. So yes, now you have got freedom. Now in the physical realm, it's very easy to define the freedom, right? But in the psycho-spiritual realm, it's not. People don't even understand that they're under the bondage. But there are two types of bondage. One is the bondage of the past karma. Also, I don't know if you believe in the rebirth or not, but I feel it.
It's all right. It's your story.
It's my story.
So, yeah.
One is that, but I'll just touch upon it very briefly. That's it. And then the ideas that we get in the world, the doctrines that is imposed on us. You're born in a certain family, Brahmin family में पैदा लिए हो. ठीक है, बहुत लोग बोलते हैं जैसे कि अच्छा, you should know your identity, where you have come from. Hello, what identity you're talking about? Tell me. People talk about just a very shallow identity of belonging to a certain caste, ठीक है, or a religion, country. Why don't you dig deeper? At some point of time, the earth was a ball of fire, and we all were that fire only, right? The fire element during that phase. And then like how life evolved. See, we all have evolved from that ball of fire of earth. And then where has that ball of fire, that earth come from? The stardust, you can say that. Or sun, and sun has come from stardust. Where has the stardust come from? It has come from the cosmic consciousness. So the real roots, the deepest root is the cosmic consciousness.
Right.
See, you have to understand that this whole universe is nothing but, you can say, these are the rhythmic waves. The universe is what? You can say that there's a set of different types of waves. It's all waves, The quantum theory has also proven that at a quantum level, everything is wave. So universe is nothing but the whole creation is the rhythmic waves in the cosmic mind. We are unit mind. We have a small mind. And there is something called the cosmic mind. So we all are within that.
What is the difference between collective consciousness and this cosmic mind? Because in our being, in how we are living life, how we are enacting things, the collective consciousness is either getting, forgive me if I'm wrong, but adulterated or alleviated, right? From a value point of view.
Right.
The term that you use right now?
Cosmic
mind.
Cosmic mind.
Cosmic.
Yeah.
How is collective consciousness different from the cosmic mind? Is it the same?
It is not really the same. I'll just explain that as much as I understand. See, we all are unit minds. We have a certain consciousness. So let's say if there are 5 people in this room. If we all together, if our mind becomes one at a certain level, that becomes a collective consciousness of this room. You can say that. Okay. So similarly, there is a collective consciousness of humanity as a whole. For example, if we go back 5,000 years back, humanity had a certain level of consciousness or awareness, right? It was a little primitive as compared to what it is today.
Right.
And there has been a collective
progression
of that today. So that's what we call as collective humanity. And the cosmic consciousness is the cosmic mind, the universal mind, which we call as God or supreme consciousness.
Right.
If you look at the universe, everything is just right. Like nebulas are moving, the stars are following their path, same as with planet. Something is there, something is guiding them.
Yeah, there's some sense of order.
There's some order, right? So there is some kind of
order and rhythm both. They don't
right?
get out of their place.
We see that. But then also if you go to any quiet place you go, you feel that, yes, things are moving, but then there is a sense of awareness also. There is a feeling of something that exists, which is unknown to you. That is what is awareness. That is omnipresence. Omnipresence.
Omnipresence, okay.
Right. That permeates each and every atom of this universe. Right. I hope that answers.
Yeah, fair enough. A basic understanding of this thing.
Okay.
In today's time, collective consciousness can be engineered
Right. Very interesting.
by the kind of information that is fed to everybody and it can be done at a global level, it can be done at a regional level also. So what's your take on that?
Absolutely. I mean, that's a very, very interesting question, which I never thought, but it is actually happening, that it has been engineered. And it has been engineered because of vested interest, because people want to control humanity for their own selfish gains. So what is happening is that it's actually people are becoming unconscious in a way. So the collective conscious is not really conscious, it is unconscious, right? So that is why it is important that each individual follow the inner journey. We have to connect to our inner self, because the more you look outward, you're going to lose yourself in that crowd, in that noise that is being created, So unless you connect to your inner self, you cannot really rise against the kind of exploitation that has been planned. It's all game plan of few individuals. You cannot really rise against that and create a world that is worth living.
So basically what I also wanted to understand is, now all of this, you went through the consciousness, self-awareness.
Hey, hold करना. मेरे को आउट ऑफ बॉडी एक्सपीरियंस एक बार सुना. तो एग्जांपल कौन सा है? उसके बाद तू पूछ रहा.
Out of body.
Yes, what was that?
See, I told you that I was just standing, and I don't know what I was thinking, I don't remember. But then I felt very weak. Weak, yes. My body was like giving up, and my knees were giving up, and there was bed just beside me. I just lied. I just felt, you can say that I was a bit conscious, so I made sure that I fall there only. And I was lying, and I was there actually. Now, who am I? That's a big question, okay. I was means my body was lying, and I was there on the top here, right? Like, for example, if that's my body, I'm here, you're lying.
Right.
And I'm looking at my body, and it just felt like a pure mechanical order machine, nothing else. So, and I could see all the happenings of my life like a film roll opening.
और उसके पहले आपने, you had been clean, you were doing your meditation, you were doing your everyday rituals.
Yes.
Now you can tell
I
us.
think there was a lot of, just adding to that, there's a lot of ecstatic flow during this. I was like, it's such a high, devotional high, you can say that. Understand? Because devotion, if you want to talk about that aspect also, because there are like three paths in life. One is the path of intellectual. Through knowledge, you can know that, Through action, faculty, you can know. And the resultant of this, which a lot of people call is the third path, which is devotion. The resultant of knowledge minus, jnana minus action is bhakti, is devotion.
Jnana minus action is
bhakti, devotion. So knowledge minus action is devotion.
What is knowledge plus action?
Knowledge plus action will make you crazy, like a
knowledge plus
demon.
action will take you to nirvana.
Not nirvana. It will make you a demon, because you'll become such an egoistic person then. Because the moment you think that you know or you do, you gain ego. And the moment you gain ego, you become finite. Right? You have a certain identity. It's like this. I'll give you a very interesting example. Let's say there is a circle. Right? Now, if you define its radius, then it will exist. Be it even in, let's say, million of inches or kilometers, it will still exist. You can still quantify it.
Right.
But the moment the radius is 0 or infinite, it ceases to exist. Now, that's the pain of human beings. We don't want to be finite. It's a dichotomical life, that's the problem. We want to be free. We want to be eternal.
Sure.
That is the deep desire of everyone, knowing or unknowingly. I'm telling you that. You may not be aware about it, but you want complete liberation.
But on the larger picture, when looking at spirituality, isn't that the goal? Becoming one with, so basically,
One with
from
this
whatever little
God.
bit I know, yeah. So becoming one with God, Paramatma.
Yes.
The moment you as a soul are going, your Atma is going up and becoming one with the God.
Right.
So Paramatma and the whole
आत्मा
idea
का
is to
परमात्मा
become
से मिलन है.
infinite.
Right. तो यही होता है भक्ति से. क्या हुआ आपने जैसे the moment you limit yourself to a certain identity, so you're limiting yourself, wherein the Paramatma is infinite entity. So how can a finite become infinite? Finite can only become infinite since we have mind if we constantly think of infinite.
Only when we expand our
Expand
consciousness, that's when.
So with devotion, what happens is that you surrender. The moment you surrender, you start flowing in that infinite bliss. तो automatically क्या होता है कि you become one with that cosmic mind. Otherwise, the moment you have the ego of knowledge that I have this knowledge or I'm doing this, you become small actually. You're confined within a certain identity. And that is an impediment in your spiritual progress. See, that's what happens with artists also. It's very interesting and I keep telling. So people think that I'm mad because in the realm of art, people say that, like artists should have a certain identity, their work should. And it's completely opposite of what I believe. I feel that you have to lose yourself completely, lose your identity. Because the moment you have identity, you are limited. And that's why if you look at the works of artists, they keep doing the same kind of work for decades even. And also it is to do with the market forces also that they are compelled to do that. But there is a lot to do with finding their identity. Right. But it's actually suicidal actually for the artist. Because why are you limiting yourself? You have to express anything and everything that exists in this infinite universe. You should.
Right.
Right.
How does spirituality connect itself to creativity? What does it do or not do for it?
I also just want to add on to that. So one is, what does spirituality do to creativity? And what did it do to you as a creative person?
Very interesting question. So when we talk about this word spirituality, it has come from the term called spirit. Now, what is spirit means something that is free, like, or a soul. That's the synonym also, which is boundless. Something very sublime, you can say that. So spirituality can also be associated with something very sublime, something very subtle. When something is subtle, it has no limit, it is limitless. Right? And same is the case with the creation also. It's limitless, the created universe. Although it is finite, the created universe is finite, but it is still limitless in a way. It is so vast that you can't explore it. Even if takes you several lifetimes, you can't explore it fully. So now we all have come, this is what I have realized, that we all have come from that eternal entity. It's very clear. Now when I was talking about where does Earth come from, like tracing the history of the Earth. So it is very clear that it is unknown, or you can say that it is unknown, it is abstract. Now, what is abstract? Something which cannot be quantified, something which cannot be, it is beyond the sensory experience, something that is transcendental. Right?
Difficult to explain.
Difficult. So when we become spiritual, like, when our mind expands, then what you express as a creative being takes a very different turn. It has a very different vibration. See, creativity has two aspects. One is the skills, like the craft. As a sculptor, I sculpt with clay. As a painter, someone does this.
That's your craft.
That's a craft.
That's the medium for you to probably express your...
Yes, right. And then the other aspect is the idea.
That aspect is?
Idea. So the skill, the craft, and the idea. Now, most of us generally confuse craft with art. We don't really understand the difference. We don't even understand the difference between sometimes design and I think people do understand design and art, but not between decor and art. I think people somehow, I mean, I would say that people maybe don't understand art, fine art. They can't define it, but somehow they put all of them in the same bucket, I feel, somewhere, right? So a lot of times I've seen this with a lot of very experienced personals in the art industry also, that they get really enamored, attracted by something which is just very crafty only, which has got just skill set, but there is no idea. They said, wow, this is so overwhelming. But when you look at the feel of it, the idea behind it, there's no idea. It is just merely a visual, sensory expression. It does not... See, the art, we have to understand that art has to unfold into something deeper. It is not just sensory. It should lead to a trans-sensory experience. Okay. So, coming back to your original question, so when your mind is expanded, then of course the ideas that you'll express will be in line with that, right? Because as your mind is, so you'll express, right? Whatever you express is the manifestation of your being, isn't it? So now if somebody with an elevated state of mind express some idea, create something, imagine its effect on the collective consciousness versus someone who creates things with incredible skill, no doubt about this skill. I think that people are incredibly talented. But then that idea is very mundane. What will be its impact? Yes, wow, it's beautiful. It can become a showpiece. But will it touch your heart? Will it elevate your consciousness? It's a question.
Yeah, but isn't that also subjective? Because let's say something that you find as an art, that is very elevating to you or me, might not be the same for somebody who doesn't know how to even appreciate art. And especially in our country's context, where design and appreciation for design and art is not given so much value, then that whole purpose is lost. So that's a very subjective.
Well, the thing is, I'll tell you, I have a question. If there is a healthy food, let's say, in front of us, it will be healthy for all of us, a healthy food, right? So it's not really subjective, it's very objective, it's like very clear. There is a clear understanding of that. And unhealthy food, maybe depending upon health, may not affect you as much as it will affect me. But the impact will be there. Now, out of three of us, you may connect to healthy food. I may savor the unhealthy food because, I have a very different taste. And also my upbringing is different. The baggage I'm carrying also, because we are a set of emotions, you have to understand that. We have a lot of desires. We are not...
The baggage, you mean karmic baggage?
Karmic baggage. So that also defines your journey of life. So you like a certain set of thing because of your karmic baggage, and that could be detrimental. I mean, if you see it from an ideal viewpoint, that may actually impede your spiritual progress or evolution. But since you have that baggage, you have to undergo that. It's inevitable also a lot of times. I'm just saying that. But now when it comes to, the thing is we have to understand that can also be engineered. Like the way you said that the collective consciousness can be engineered. Similarly, if you create things that are elevating, so you can engineer actually the collective consciousness in a positive way, something that will benefit them.
That can be done, yes.
So that is where this concept or idea or role of something meaningful. So whatever we have to create, we have to understand that it has to be meaningful. See, it's like this. If you're talking and if you're just talking bullshit for hours, in a very flowery language, we are very eloquent, and using very high sounding words, it may entertain people. People may connect to it. It's not that, you'll find a lot of people connecting to that. but will it really elevate their consciousness? What will we take away? So the same thing happens. I'm just sharing, this is my understanding, that with the visual art also, the same thing happens. That we like it, yes, I mean, it appeals because there is a aesthetic and there is a science behind aesthetic. How do you create beautiful objects? But then the effect of that is just till the sensory level. It just appeals to the senses. It does not appeal to your inner being.
Can I hold you here?
Yes.
Okay. When we started this topic of inquiry, right, one of the things that you said that was the fact that possibly your reason for disconnect was the fact that you didn't see in whatever you were doing that you had an impact on humanity. But that was your premise.
Right.
In some version, you said the same thing to Michael Aram as well, right? Now that you're a practicing artist, two parts to the same question. First is, do you feel you've gotten there, wherein you have impact on humanity? And if so, are you fulfilling your purpose of being, or rather embodying life within your mechanical body?
So when I started this journey, when I embarked on this artistic journey, out of unfulfillment from or unquenchable thirst from the design practice, I knew nothing, frankly speaking. I was in the quest. But there was something that was guiding me somewhere. Some unknown force, I can say that. And I experimented a lot. I remember in the initial days, I got few artists on board. And you won't believe that while at Aram, I used to practice painting, because just to keep myself somewhat connected, But I did a lot of things. I did photography, I did painting, I tried sculpting also. But I realized that I was not good at anything. While at my job, I'm saying, the last 10 years of my job. Because I really wanted to explore myself because the design was not really fulfilling me, So I tried and I realized that no, I'm not good at that and I should actually work with artists because I felt that I was very good with ideas because I used to meditate and really ponder a lot on ideas, very deep thoughts. So I can work very well with artists. So I thought of an idea of maybe a platform where I can get artists on board and we can work together, and we can create vision for the humanity. So I formed Studio Renaissance in 2017 after resigning from Michael Aram. Studio Renaissance is a non-profit, as you have read. So the idea was to support artists and also work together, like art community, as for creating the vision for humanity, from the welfare of humanity. That was the vision. So when I embarked on this journey, as I said, I got artists on board. So they were working, they were painters and sculptors. I knew nothing. I had ideas, I used to discuss with them and I used to work with them on that. Initially, I engaged them. So I kept trying. I was not getting there. It was just not hitting here. So first year, I was just working with artists, but then gradually I exhausted all my savings. Okay. I had very little saving anyway. I never saved. I never ran after money, never hankered after money. And then what to do? And there was a time when I was deep down in the ground, with loans and all those things.
EMIs and bills.
EMIs, and I was not able to pay the rentals and fees of my children for almost 8-9 months. I mean, those were the days also. But you won't believe, I was working, I was not feeling it though. I was not getting there. I always felt that while I was making it, it's not connecting to me. Okay. And I used to break things also. I used to just say, no, this is not working out. And my, the team used to say, sir, this is so beautiful, it will sell. I said, no, I'm not feeling it. So I used to just discard things. So I kept doing that again and again, trying to find myself in my creation. And it took almost, I would say, I think it's only now, since past couple of years, I felt that now I am there. I think I have gained control over the language and the expression also, where I want to take the expression towards. So now what is happening is that See, what happens generally is that, see, artists are also on a spiritual journey.
Sure.
See, it's a language. It's a subtler language. Like we are speaking in English or Hindi, through words we express. Similarly, in art, in fine art like visual art, you express through lines or forms, and it is much more subtler. So what happens is that when artists embark on the journey, as they keep practicing, because it's such a subtle language that they accidentally come across some expression which really touches the core of their heart. See, it's all about experience and expression. So what you experience, you express. So as an artist, if initially I get very compelled by these shells, let's say, these become my inspiration. So that's a certain experience they give me. So now what I try to do is that I try to express that in my work. Okay. Now I start drawing lines. Now lines are subtle medium, of course. So during that process, when I start playing with the lines, I come across expression which touches the core of my heart. Initially it was all sensory. What I see, I'm creating, but in the process, gradually, as I keep practicing, because I'm searching for something, I'm searching for that beauty, something that is infinitely beautiful. So that's how the natural journey of an artist is. Gradually they find their expression. With me, what happened, it was reverse. I had a spiritual experience and I was trying to find that expression through the language of art.
So how did that come out finally?
So I kept practicing. I started taking different inspiration and I started searching for that feeling, that deeper awareness within everything. So what technically I was doing was trying to establish the link between what I see or what I sense and what is deep within me, something that I feel, something that is blissful within me. So I was building the bridge between known, something that is sensory, and unknown. Or you can say mundane and supramundane, or mundane and transcendental. So I experimented a lot. I drew a lot of lines on clay. I was not good with...
A lot of lines on clay.
I was not good with painting, I felt. Okay. Although I started with painting only. Okay. But this experience of working at Michael Aram, that came handy because I sculpted a lot there. Small things though. So in that process, what happened was that while connecting that, while building that bridge, somehow universe helped me learn the language of the universe. Now, as I said initially earlier, that there are two aspects to the universe. One is the awareness and the other is the operative principle, the Shakti. Now, what you see is the effect of Shakti, the creative principle, jo bhi creation dikh raha hai. Now, as we say that nature is the greatest artist. So if you understand the nature, if you study the complete nature, how from very subtle, like understanding the element, the nature of the element, the flow of the element, and also the whole mundane created world, with a proper awareness. See, as I said, that Shakti or creativity is a blind force. People have created atom bomb also from that same creative force. And people continue to do so. People are using all the technologies for vested interest, right? Because of lack of cosmic awareness. Okay? That Shiva जिसको कहते हैं या पुरुष कहते हैं जिसको हम लोग, ठीक है? So if you, as an artist, if you have that cosmic awareness and if you understand the language of the Prakriti, of the nature, you can create anything. Then you'll feel that sense of fulfillment also.
We've never had anybody connecting creativity this heavily and in this much detail with philosophy, spirituality and how it works. Like कोई concept नहीं है मेरे दिमाग में. It's not that मैंने पढ़ा नहीं है, but Seema Samit was the last one who spoke about it.
Yeah, she did, but that was in a completely different
Yeah,
direction.
but she didn't get into the details of how it works.
That was more
So
like
I'm sorry if it is getting too intense and
No.
too esoteric also.
No, so there are two sides.
So we
One
also
is-
just want to understand, like, all of this definitely is interesting and makes a lot of sense. But how does all this culminate into your work today?
I'm coming to
And-
that. Yes, very interesting question. So, as I was talking about with the awareness with the whole universe, which is omnipresence, because unless you have that expanded awareness, how can you understand even yourself or the world? Because both are very important aspect, right? Understanding yourself, and that can only happen with expanded awareness and understanding the world, because then you have a certain role in the world, that you have to play when you are here on this earth. And then, as I said, Shakti, the awareness, and the operative principle, the creativity. Once you have control over these, or the language with that awareness, I can tell you this has been my personal experience that it is so fulfilling, and you can just create anything. You can just make anything move. You can make anything move. Like, it will just start, the forms will start breathing. They'll come alive. They will talk to your soul. And coming to your question, what I'm talking, like, how is it like really manifesting in reality? So what I did, like, this is like almost 4 years back, when I was not even convinced that I'm yet there, like, form-wise. Because it was not really resonating with the experience I had, the spiritual experience I had. So I showed one work to a karigar of mine who is not at all trained in visual art. I barely understand वो लोग तो जो एक mindset है, that labor mindset. So I just told him that you'll just look at the artwork. It's purely abstract artwork. कुछ नहीं है. They're just lines. So I asked him to just look at it and don't objectify it, don't define it. Just look at it visually and feel it. So he looked at it, he glanced at it for maybe like 30 seconds or a minute or even more, I don't remember that. And he said he feels something here. Heart, in his heart. And then other friends also, like, there are like friends who are coming down to my studio, and when they look at my artwork, they always used to say that they feel something here. It hits them here. So what is happening is that it is triggering the heart chakra. And as you know, the science of Tantra, the Kundalini, that the realization happens through the awakening of latent divinity. Your Kundalini rises from the base chakras to the higher chakra. And it is only when your Kundalini reaches your heart chakra that you feel the love. I mean, that is why we say कि heart को जो हम लोग बोलते हैं ना कि you feel the love with the heart. लेकिन heart कहाँ feel करता है? वो तो mind feel करता है.
Right.
It is because of this that when the Kundalini reaches heart chakra, that you feel that sense of love for the entire creation. The mind opens up.
Right.
So below the heart chakra, it's all crude chakras, like physical, which maintains the physical body. Those are also needed. Okay? It is only after the Manipur chakra, that Anahat chakra, that you feel that connection to the spiritual world. Your mind gets in an elevated state, you can say that. Okay? So now what is happening is that these sculptures, and recently also, like, I was in my studio. When I create stuff, I just move on, of course. Like, I create a sculpture, I then start focusing on something else. And I have someone joining for writing and helping me with sales also. So, and he's very good with writing. So he is writing about sculptures and he's very sincere. So he says, I want sculpture in front of me to be able to write. So there's this sculpture which I created just this year, in the beginning of this year, called Wisdom Tree. I mean, that has been my very popular theme. So tree with a root, like, it just goes into a very abstract world. It was there at this height, and I was here looking at it, and I felt something. I said, oh my God. I mean, even though I have created this sculpture, but I've never ever experienced what I'm experiencing right now. It just takes you within. You're just completely lost. Mind becomes thoughtless. All the problems in the world are because we have not been able to sit quietly for even 15 seconds or a minute. The moment you stop thinking, your mind just opens to the infinite possibility. वो कहानी भी सुना है ना, वो वाला जो था एक शेर जो था वो किसी के बीच में पैदा ले लिया था, दूसरा जंगल कोई मेमने कोई था कोई दूसरे जंगल में, ठीक है, मतलब कि the lion's mother must have died, so it was brought up by maybe jackals, something like that only, ठीक है. So it's a very interesting story. So there was a monkey or some great person. He saw that. He said, okay, so this is the case. So the lion was behaving like the jackals only. Okay, yes, because he was brought up in that family. So he encountered the lion. He said, you know what? You should go to such place, tomorrow, and see yourself. There is a lake, and see yourself in the water. So he followed him, lion. He went there. So that day, but it was stormy day. It was raining. So he tried to see himself, but he just could not see because water was, turbulent, yeah, murky. So he came back and he told the saint that, I did not see anything. So saint understood that, okay, it was a stormy day, so he could not see it. So he sent him another day, and it was a quiet day, very peaceful. And the lion saw himself because water was absolutely calm. So that water is nothing but it's the mind. Our mind is like a mirror. To be able to see yourself clearly, you have to make it absolutely calm. So as an artist, what I'm trying to do when it comes to my role in the society, what my art will do, how will humanity benefit from it, is that when you engage with the art I'm creating, it will actually elevate your consciousness. And I'm doing it is, right now it is just a theory, right? I'm just saying it. But to validate it, what we are doing now is that we are going to prove it through scientific experiment. So I'm in the process of acquiring a machine that can measure the brain waves, and also collaborating with people who can test the blood. So all those things are underway right now. Hopefully very soon, in a year, we'll be able to somehow prove that. Yeah. And I'm very clear that yes, it is happening. I'm so much clear. So once that is proven, you imagine that art versus just an art that is just visually appealing. What it can do, it can just transform the consciousness. Because we have to understand that all the crises, all the problems in the world are not due to economy or due to nationalism or religion. It is due to the evolution. It is due to the lack of evolution. The mind has to evolve. The mind is still very primitive right now. On one hand, the science has evolved. We have created so many objects. So we are using Shakti. Now that is what I'm saying, that Shakti is science in action is Shakti, nothing else. But there is no direction. People do not know how to use science. How will it be beneficial?
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
If we can give people that deeper experience. So when you have that awareness and then you use the Shakti, then you guide the Shakti in the right direction, then it will bring about collective welfare.
So whatever you're doing right now, you are actually undergoing this process all the time, constantly.
Yes.
Right. Rajesh.
No, in my head, I'm thinking of two people like Leonardo da Vinci and Antonio Gaudi, who probably have gone through this process to create something which is out of the world.
We will not know until we speak to them.
Yeah.
Also, what happens is very interesting that as an artist, whatever my thoughts are, I feel something and it is very abstract actually, right? Now I have to express it with the abstract language. Subtle language, it's not abstract. Abstract does not exist actually. So whatever we call as abstract art actually is not really abstract, but it does not exist. If we do not have control over the language, let's say I'm expressing in English right now, and I know that my English language is not very good. I'm not very good with it. ठीक है, काम चल जाता है, बस ठीक है. The way you can express eloquently, using...
You are doing a fine job.
No, I'm okay. I'm with that. But I know myself, I'm saying that. The way if I don't have understanding of the language, अगर मेरे को words नहीं पता, alphabets नहीं पता है, words नहीं पता, how to form them, how can I express any idea? I can't.
Sure.
Can't, no? Right?
Sure.
The same thing is with the art also. If you do not understand the way the universe has been created, You have to understand the whole creative cycle, how the universe came into being, what is happening, the creation, the maintenance, and the destruction. जो कहते हैं ना, generation, operation, destruction, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. You have to understand all these aspects. And then the whole creation within, when it is there, how the waves are. Because it's all waves. You have to understand everything in terms of waves. It's all there. You have to just feel them. So unless you have full control over that language, how can you express your abstract feeling? You can't. And that is what happens with most of the artists, that although their mind gets there in the supramental state, but their expression is still very limiting. And that is why when audience see the work of the artist, even very great artists, they, like especially abstract artists, they don't feel connected. They say, "Ki ye kya hai? Bahut bad." Okay, so that is the reason why I try to give a connecting point also to the audience. So where I say that I try to build the bridge between known and unknown, because I want maximum people to benefit from it. Because if I just create abstract art, because that's what I enjoy doing, frankly speaking, it's amazing if you just create something abstract, because you are abstract, you're in that unknown realm, but then it won't do any benefit for the humanity.
Let me kind of create in my own head, in the way that I'm receiving whatever you're saying. The awareness and the spiritual side are two things that guide you to expressing, and you've chosen art form as your tool of expression. And in doing this, you feel a fulfillment, a sense of fulfillment of purpose for why you embody. And that kind of rounds up not the accessory designer or artist or anything called Divyendu Anand, but the person who is undergoing the journey of living life. And I've had the opportunity to meet in this context.
Right. So that's very interesting. I mean, that triggered this answer, that when I say that I used to always feel disconnected from design, because how do you take inspiration? Why are you taking even inspiration? That's a question you ask yourself. Because just because it is beautiful, like appealing to you. So I think the universe did not let me connect. It's very interesting how it conspires for so many years of my...
Yeah.
Because it wanted me to understand the core. Like what is the... I've written a very interesting quote, that the aim of creativity is not to create anything. Creative expression or whatever. Creativity is not to create anything, but to know the source of creation.
Aim of creativity is not
to create anything. Not just to create, sorry, I think. So the aim of creativity is not just to create, but to find the source of that creation. So we have the whole idea, I think our journey is that only. Like, we have come from that source, we are here in this world, and we want to go back to that source. And the life is nothing but quest for that only. And that is where, when I embarked on this artistic journey, I got connected to the core. And now, whatever I design, what used to take me years to do and not understand, now happens in seconds. Things just move. It's just happening, things just flow.
So if your process or this flow wasn't complete, your manifestation would have taken longer. And whatever from here onwards happens in your life will be a part of that journey, and you are open to that. I mean, that's what you started with, saying that at this point of time, you feel immense love, and
And also, it's about connecting to root. How can we express, when we are creative beings, we say we are expressing ourselves. If you're not created, if you do not know yourself, how can you express yourself, right? And that is what is happening in most of the cases. That people are still in that journey. They don't know, they're trying to know. So which is fine, which is good actually. But what I'm trying to say is that if you become very conscious about it, then the speed becomes faster actually.
Tell me something, to take this conversation forward, can I really say that, let's say tomorrow a youngster listens to this episode, they're going to encounter somebody who's speaking or connecting the dots to spirituality, spiritual practice, finding faith even.
No. Faith is completely your thought, completely it's a false thing. Not faith. It does not exist. You're just creating it in your mind. That's it.
Right. So spirituality
is awareness.
What?
Yeah, spirituality or awareness, being, you can say that.
So you would definitely recommend that anybody who listens to this should have these two things as an undertaking, which is a spiritual quest and awareness of the self.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing, two sides of the same coin.
Right.
I like this closure. What about you?
I'm good. I think
I wanted to ask him, in this conversation with us, wherein we, in some sense, I have a spiritual side, so I'm taking off bits and pieces while I was trying to look at your story as your story. It's very difficult to keep them distinct because you're constantly connecting the dots. The number of times I went back in my mind, in some sense, compare notes, connect or disconnect, have disagreements, something wrong with chal raha hai. That is what I was undergoing and asking you the questions that we were. What has been your experience of having this conversation with us?
Interesting question. Well, I generally enjoy, I think the most important aspect is sharing my experience so that others can gain from it. First thing I would say. And secondly, definitely, when you are in such a situation, then it really helps you understand what the world thinks and expect from you also. And it actually prepares you also in the forward journey in a way. Because as I said that I've been very much disconnected from the detailed world, the noisy world. Okay, I have my body, but then my mind is always at a different plane. So it's very hard for me to, if you say, explain a lot of things about this world, in detail. Okay, and perhaps it's because of that, I think, that I have been able to connect to the higher dimension in a more profound way. Otherwise, generally what happens is that you can get distracted or kept you can be pulled down by the crude vibrations of the world. So I think these all experiences really help me actually balance my understanding of life, between the subtler world and the more you can say the world that we live in.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for doing this. It was a very intriguing conversation.
We've never had a conversation like this.
So we will definitely
This is
go
heavy
back
inside.
and
This
listen
is
to
still
it multiple
incomplete
times.
actually because
Yes.
yeah.
But
Anyway, I mean, since we have a paucity of time, I understand that because we will talk
actually,
forever.
we are not done with you either, to be very honest. While we are trying to understand this conceptually, and this conversation has so far been an effort to understand these concepts through your experiences and your this thing. There's still this dimension of connecting all of this to context of reality. And that's a piece that is missing in our conversation in some sense. That's a huge component. As you said, paucity of time is what we are going through.
That you'll anyway say when you see how things will unfold in my life, because there's lots on pipeline actually right now.
What have you been working on apart from the artwork that we see?
See, apart from that, as I said, that Studio Renaissance, I have formed to support artists. So hopefully that time will also come very soon when we become financially little sound, because as an artist it's very challenging for us to think of money, and if you don't think of money then you can't make money. But I think I've started thinking now that I have to make money. So once the money starts flowing, perhaps we'll be able to create corpus to help genuine artists, because in the current turbulent time we do not know where the world is heading. There's so much of uncertainty, right? We need a vision. So one aspect definitely is giving people a deeper experience, but the other vision also is to create, which is more now grounded, I can say that, create the vision of the world, how the world should be, how all the socio-economic, political, economic structure should be woven, how our culture should be, how our expression should be. Every dimension of human life has to be understood and integrated also. Because right now, we see things in a very fragmented way. We see society as separate, we see economy as separate, but it's linked. अगर कोई गरीब आदमी है बेचारा, तो क्या हुआ? सोसाइटी का तो कॉन्सेप्ट ही खत्म हो गया ना. सोसाइटी मीन्स समाज. समानम इजेति इति समाज. समाज मतलब समानम इजेति इति मतलब एक साथ जो चलने की प्रक्रिया है. Working together collectively, samaj. We have not been able to form a samaj. So to create that vision of an ideal society is part of the vision. And then also to do that, we have to fight against a lot of these doctrines and dogmas which has been imposed in the human mind. the walls we have created, artificial walls of countries and religion and caste and rich, poor, and whatnot. I mean, why? So what is happening is that the human intellect is under the bondage. So there is a beauty, there is a sense of aesthetics. So if with the use of aesthetics, if you can convey that idea, it can definitely help people break the shackles. जैसे कोई poet है लिखता है कुछ अच्छा तो देखते हो mind एकदम elevate हो जाता है बिल्कुल. You start believing, a nice movie you see, you start believing in that.
Music.
So that's also the vision that we have to work on. I mean, that is in progress.
That's something that you've been working.
So the idea is to bring artists together. So we are building our studio, space for artisans and craftsmen in Purulia, which is we are calling as Lal Mati project because it's the land of red soil. So we want to support the artisans and craftsmen there, and plus we also plan to build a residency facility there, where all the creative people can come together, not just like people from art. Like I think even technocrats are creative people, and give them space where we can work together, for the collective welfare. Because we have to look at humanity as a whole, as one family. Unless we have that vision in mind, that thought in mind, I don't think we can do justice to any activity do. Like even if as a creative being, I can say, oh, wow, I'm very popular, I've made a lot of money. It's of no use, I'm telling you. If there is no society, if you're not living together in peace and harmony, what is the point of all these creative activities? That's my question, I'm telling you that. And I'm pursuing that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Give this episode with Divyendu Anand a listen. Let us know what you think. If you like what you see and hear, share, subscribe, and follow. Thank you so much.